Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. It's episode 2038.
Mike's Daily Podcast
2038. Hey, people, today in this world, we got the video conferencing, and it's really awesome. I think I'm going to have interesting offspring. Wait, huh? My offspring is my podcast, basically. Today's podcast, where we discuss
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Mike is on it, man.
Go where no man has gone before.
We love it, Mike.
dealing with the coronavirus in our own little ways, in our own interesting
Daily
bits of processing.
Podcast.
What's happening?
Yeah!
I noticed some people don't even call it coronavirus or COVID-19. They call it the Wuhan virus. Wuhan. So we never forget where it came from. Yes, pretty much everyone says it's from China. And it appears it came from Wuhan. Now, beyond that, I don't know. Was it like in a marketplace? Was it a lab? I don't know. But I do know we're all processing in different ways. We, my lovely lady friend and I, have been enjoying the television show Community. I made a millennial laugh today with that interesting bit of knowledge. Like, why are you watching Community? That show's old. Yeah, it's over 10 years old. So it's old. No, it's actually, I think the episode I saw last night was from 2011. So, yeah, older. But it's all in the name, Community. And we're not feeling that right now. We're not feeling, we're all far away from each other, 6 feet apart. I don't know if you go out every day and experience the world. I have to sometimes go into work, and I'll see people at work, but I don't see my friends because there's this etiquette now of you can't see your friends unless you want to have the mask on.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Actually, this is what's interesting about the great outdoors, as we've been discussing in recent podcasts, the great outside, is that apparently we're going to be doing a lot more stuff outside. My lovely lady friend and I go and meet some friends of ours at a park. We've met them a couple times at the park. We have a picnic, and we're like 6 feet apart. We don't have, maybe we did have masks on. But I even brought Basil the Boxer along with us this one time. This was a couple Saturdays ago. And it was great. Now, we're both, this was the one little thing that probably wasn't well thought out, was we both brought food. And it wasn't, Basil was there, as I mentioned. Let's just say we probably should have been doing the whole everybody uses different utensils thing, but we had finger food. Yeah, if you're going to do this sort of thing, I guess you should stay away from finger food, because everyone's hands is in the dip, and you know, people double dip and with the dip and the chips and that thing. So it was basically not well thought out in hindsight, but this is what's going to happen. I was listening to, this is probably the way this show is me telling you about stuff that I heard recently. What did Mike hear recently? This is what the show is. I heard recently that maybe if we do performances, like let's say you're part of a theater group or a band, the way we're going to see you perform is outside. And that way, if you're outside and everyone has, like, not an actual assigned seating, let's say we're all on a lawn, we can space out our folding chairs 6 feet apart. Like here at Cafe Anyway, everyone here is at least 8 feet apart. Ooh, I saw Bob yesterday. I hadn't seen Bob in a while. Shout out to Bob. What about Bob? Let's name as many Bill Murray movies as we can. Lost in Translation, the Rushmore, Gold Ghostbusters, Meatballs, Stripes, Caddyshack. Gosh, he's done a lot of stuff. Scrooged. So I run into Bob, and we have a little discussion, and he's doing great. looks healthy. He's still walking the trails, and it's interesting. There's a trail that goes around in Podcastro Valley. People on trails, not end trails, but on trails, as it were. They do not, I see some wearing the masks. There was one guy with a mask on, and I keep a bandana around my neck, so I end up putting it over my face just to be out of courtesy. But sometimes there's a way of doing it where you're not being offensive. My lovely lady friend was on a trail the other day walking, and a guy was on his bike. And he's coming the other way, right? And he says to her, "On your left." You don't need to do that if you're in front of me. I can see you. But if you're coming from behind me and shooting past me super fast, yeah, on the left, on the right. It's annoying, but thank you for that. But he's in front of her coming down the hill, and he says the "on your left" thing, and then he puts his mask on, like as if he's going to be flying past her at 40 miles an hour. Why the heck does it even have to put like a little coronavirus germ is going to jump from my lovely lady friend up his nose at 45 miles an hour? That's when you see people are paranoid. That's when you see people have lost it. That's when you see after the ever since March thing, and people were starting to get paranoid in February. Now we're a bunch of hypochondriacs. Except if you're in, was it Wisconsin that opened up? And now everybody's drinking. Like overnight, it was like prohibition. Get out forget about, just start drinking. No, I was thinking of the thing where they had all the booze in the barrels, and the cops would come over with the axes and break open the barrels, and the booze would just fly everywhere, and they dumped the booze out. That was sad. That was during Prohibition. That wasn't good. But then the 21st Amendment was repealed. And then we had a great brewery in San Leandro open, which, as far as I know, Kevin, who has been on the show a couple times with Addendum with Kevin, he said that he's working over there. So if he's listening, hello, because he would listen whilst working at the 21st Amendment. And yes, I just used the word whilst because I'm all Shakespearean now. Isn't it fascinating how many sayings we got from Shakespeare? Bed bugs. Oh, no, don't let the bed bugs bite. Was that one of his? Or something to do with dreaming. He had a lot of terms we use today and expressions. And none of them I can access in my brain because at this point in the morning, it's rather early. And I can't. I'm so sorry. To dream, perchance to sleep. There. That was my Shakespeare. You're welcome. Anywho, we're all processing stuff, and apparently the retail numbers were terrible today. What a surprise. And all the financial people are all, oh my God, retail. Yeah, nobody's going out. People are afraid to walk into a store and buy stuff. People are afraid a lot of stores were closed. Duh. They're buying stuff online. Oh, and that's the other thing I heard. Oh, online sales are going through the roof. Yeah, that's right. What? Sometimes the news. When you watch the news, it's like, what? But we're all processing, as I'm saying here, as I said previously, as we're outside a cafe anyway. And yes, everyone here at Cafe Anyway is at least 8 feet apart, and everything is sane and safe. Here, this is your safe place. Thanks for stopping by your Safe Place podcast today. I also spoke with my millennial friend a lot about Walt Disney, and I would recommend to you, as you are watching things, playing video games, whatever you're doing, that you do check out on YouTube. Somebody uploaded the 10-year anniversary of Disneyland After Dark. You got to type in After Dark because Walt Disney did this cool thing. After hours, Louis Armstrong performs. All these legendary artists are performing from the mid 60s. And because 65, that would have been the 10-year anniversary. And he's signing autographs, and it's hilarious. And you just see Walt Disney being Walt Disney and being cool and talking to people, and forget about Tom Hanks. Oh, you know what, Tom Hanks, you're fantastic. You went to Chabot College. I went to Chabot College for one semester. I did anyway, in lovely Hayward. But you're Walt Disney. I don't know what you were channeling, but that wasn't Walt Disney. I don't know what you were trying to do. I'm like, okay, I think you're just doing Tom Hanks. You are not doing Walt. I don't understand if you're trying to get the gestalt of Walt Disney or what, but that ain't no Walt Disney. Emma Thompson was fantastic in that. Well, she's fantastic in everything, but, she had to be all hard-nosed at the beginning, and then she became all vulnerable when she found out that the writers for Mary Poppins were trying to pay some respect to her father, and apparently the Mary Poppins was all about her father, played by not Russell Crowe, who's going to be in a new movie, one of the first movies to come out in theaters in many, many, many months. The other guy. Who's the other Australian guy? Colin something. That guy. Can't think of it. Like I can't think of the Shakespeare. Anyway, we're outside a cafe anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. Look who's here.
Hello, my guys. This is Chely Shoehart, Gift Shop Supervisor. I really enjoy Emma Thompson in those movies that she did where she was all like that witch.
That was a great movie. Are we selling a lot of masks at the gift shop?
Yes, Mike Matthews. You don't get any of that money.
Dang it. Why are you selling? You should just give those away for free. You're a horrible, horrible person, Chely. Look at you, being all entrepreneurial and capitalizing on the Wuhan virus.
Mike Matthews, we all gotta make a buck.
Yeah, especially with retail numbers so low. Maybe it's because we're giving everything away, right? Look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman! And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, don't pick on Chely Shoehart. Or Emma Thompson, for that matter. Or Tom Hanks. Yeah, why am I picking on all these people? That's just wrong, and I feel bad about that. And I feel bad about it being Friday, and I've been doing over a week's worth of Mike's Daily Podcasts, and I haven't heard from you yet. No, I'm not talking to any of the Cafe Anyway characters. I'm talking about you, the podcast listener. Why haven't you called? You should give me a call at 336-MM-DAILY. 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM as in Mike Matthews, Daily as in what this podcast has been for many, many days now. And here's the question I'd like to ask you. What are we going to do about trials and courtrooms? We talk all about restaurants, talk all about social distancing in restaurants and how our restaurants going to survive when they're at 20% capacity, which I love that idea, but still, how are they going to survive? And you won't be able to run a restaurant the way it used to be. Just think how grimy and grungy restaurants were, where they would come along and wipe off your table with a rag that stunk a little bit of ammonia and left that awful ammonia smell on your table for about 5 minutes, and then it was gone because then you're like, I'm hungry, I don't care. We're not going to be doing that anymore, are we? Are we going to be it's going to be a little bit more involved. Clorox wipes or some kind of spray, disinfectant. And it's going to be a little bit more intense eating out. I don't think I'm going to like eating out. I think I'm still going to eat at home as much as possible. But I do need to socialize and I do need to see people. And the great outside. So that's what I heard on a show where it was somebody from the Emily Post website talking about what we're going to do with like performances, and basically theaters are going to close for the time being, and we're going to have to see performances outside because we can adhere to all the social distancing guidelines when we're outside. And we're at least 6 feet apart, and you can put your chair wherever, your collapsible chair on the grass. As for the actors, they can't perform with masks on, so that's another question. What about that? The musicians they can't sing with a mask on. They can't. It's going to be. We're all going to sound like Kenny from South Park. And So back to the courtrooms. How's that going to happen? All those people crammed into a small room. Maybe we should do court sessions outside. Maybe we should all be outside on the lawns and then, bring the convicts in to the park. We're taking over the park today because that trial with the guy who he used toothpaste. Left the team's hotel in order to buy toothpaste and skin cream. The Bundesliga manager. Bundesliga. I should know that. That's German, isn't it? Augsburg. Oh, Augsburg? What are all these words I don't know? Sorry, everybody. I got to go to class this weekend and learn some words that I don't typically use. Augsburg. Oh, okay. German. Yeah, that's Bundesliga. I need to call on Katrine and ask her these questions to get some knowledge on that. Anywho, so what we're gonna do is end the show because that story meant nothing to anyone who didn't ever watch a soccer game. And next show it'll be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. But I, as you can tell, need a day off, so I probably will not be doing a Saturday show or a Sunday show. But it was great having you listen to this show. And now we are on radio.com. I don't know how the heck you find me on radio.com. I think you look my name up, Mike Matthews, and you can find the podcast. But there you go, since everybody knows about radio.com. Here's A-Frame to take us out.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!
Oh, and the podcast picture is of a beautiful field that I saw yesterday on my little walk. Get outside and walk, everybody. See it now at MikesDailyPodcast.com.